Well, hello everyone, and welcome back. Wanted to do a little update video, just to kind of give you an idea of what's going to be going on. I got my Luftwaffe color paints for the Stuka and the BF-109 that I got in the stash over there. So we got the German plane colors now, so we can get moving on that a little better. I got the M3 layout here because I did 3D print the suspension piece that I drew up, and for the most part, it turned out pretty good. I'm learning how to use the slicer and everything on it, and I made some errors while doing my my drawing, my 3D model, I should say. I'm using Blender. If you didn't get to watch that video, you can look back on that. I use Blender, and they use like spheres and cubes and different shapes to create different things, but this is how it turned out. I'm surprised it actually turned out this good for my first 3D print. But it filled in all the rollers, as you'll see, that doesn't have the slots in it. That was a mistake I made in the slicer. I told it to put... First of all, I printed it flat like this on the bed, which I shouldn't have done. From what I see, a lot of people doing 3D models and everything like that and 3D printing them. They say you should... The best way to do something like this would be kind of to print it at an angle like this with supports and a base around it. But I printed it flat like this. It did work. I told the slicer to fill, or to add supports everywhere. And that's why that's kind of a mess here. You can kind of see the spring detail. And you can see how it filled in everything in between, because I told the slicer to do that, and that was a mistake. So you can see the suspension, what would then be the rods. And it did do a pretty decent job on the detail here, but it missed the ribs and filled in the rollers. And I had, from the bed, if my finger was the bed, I'm trying to explain, it filled everything from this part all the way up to all these parts and the wheels with a big chunk of plastic, which I was able to break off. I did end up breaking the little mount piece, and I did super glue it back to make sure that the CA glue would be sufficient. And yeah, it is. It's going to be fine to CA glue it to the model. But it didn't print the ribs and everything like that. And after some research, I found out that if, like I said, this is basically a cube that I shrunk down and shaped. And then the ribs were their own little cube that I shrunk down and shaped, but I embedded them too deeply into the other part. And I guess you can't do that when you're doing your 3D models. I did try to join all to get it to be one solid piece in the end, and it still, for some reason, printed like this. But like I said, it's a learning curve. It's the first 3D printer I've ever had, and it's the right shape, and it's got pretty decent detail, as you can see. It did the arms and everything, and the bolts and whatnot. The top roller looks good. What I'm really excited about is the scale is like right on. So if I put it onto the model like so, and I think if you paint it up and everything, it's going to be hard to tell once I get it to print right and the details go on right. So I'm very, very happy with that. It fits pretty much like a glove, actually. But yeah, that's why my roller isn't right. I told it to add supports everywhere, and it ended up filling in my roller. My actual 3D model is just like this right here. And once I get that situated, I started working on the drawing again. And I was able to get these ribs to show back up by not embedding them into the frame here so much. And I did get it to... There's a couple of the spokes in the wheel that aren't quite right. and it wasn't printing that right. But that should, once I get it down, it'll be fine. But I wanted to show my first print I ever made, and that's probably going to go on the shelf somewhere to for me to remember. Say, hey, you didn't do too bad the first time. I didn't expect it to turn out perfect anyway at the first one, but I kind of expected it to be like a globby mess, so I'm pretty happy with that. So we discussed the M3 Lee. Oh, while we're on that, I got some oil-based paints. I've been watching a lot of people build tanks, and they do that weathering method where you put a dot of the paint on it, and then you take a brush dipped in white spirits or whatever, and you do some streaking, and it makes a really cool effect for like some water streaking on the side of the model. So I am going to end up doing that too. Still pretty glossy. Can't wait to get the dull coat on it after it's all done, but I plan on doing a dirt effect. Not heavily mud it, but kind of like a dusty effect and stuff in here, in the suspension and on the back. Do some splatter effect on it and whatnot. So we're going to get back going on the M3 Lee. I was had to go to a different town and had an appointment, but I did stop at the hobby store like I usually do when I visit that town. And I got what I think is going to be a nice color for that Shelby. It's not going to probably match the exact car color, but I wanted it to be some kind of a blue. And this does have metal flake. It's probably hard to see, and my light's kind of making it look a little different color than the cap really shows in person as I looked in my camera there, but that's going to be the body color for that, and it does have metal flake in it. So it's called Custom Blue Metallic Flake. So got the paint for the Mustang. And what else? I ended up getting a model. Of course, you gotta sit there and look at all the models. So I got the Revell's P51D Mustang. I thought I had this, but I actually had the Corsair, the Messerschmitt 109, and the Spitfire. And I thought I needed the Spitfire, but it was a Mustang that I needed. So I got the Mustang today. It's hard to visit the hobby store without picking up something. So I'll put that over in the stash there. And I also, for the P40 diorama, since I said it was going to basically be a grass runway, and the Cadillac Brougham, I need to do the static grass in the yard part, so I got some static grass. It's a little more realistic color. It's different shades. Kind of got some yellow in there as well. And it's a better scale than the stuff I had. The stuff I had is like super green, which don't look bad. But it's a different size static grass flocking there. So got that for those dioramas. I can start working on them again. And I'm almost ready to 3D print the garage on the Brougham diorama. So that'll be fun too. So I just wanted to do a quick video update of what I was working on. We'll get the Stuka in the paint booth and start painting the interior parts so we can get the fuselage closed up on that. I also got to get the USS Iowa. We puttied the sink marks on it. We got to get that sanded smooth and everything. See if we need another coat. But that's pretty much where we're at this point. I'd like to thank everyone for watching, and we'll see you guys next time.